Hello and good morning on this Wednesday, the 15th of January 2020. Welcome. Oh, just a minute. There you are. I hadn't clicked the button then. I was all blank then. Did you see? I was blank. I was a blank page, a blank canvas, boys and girls. As we are, whenever we start in the morning, we are a blank canvas. Good morning. It's Wednesday, the 15th of January 2020. Welcome along to our little chat show. This morning, coming to you from Lincolnshire in Royal Berkshire, from the Chapel Hill Marina in Lincolnshire. Good morning, gang. And what isn't a particularly cold, I have to say, last night, in my little bed in my caravan, I had a lovely sleep last night. Really good sleep. After I finished the show, I watched a bit of telly. I watched, it was hilarious. Hilarious. I watched Lost in Space, and also I watched Series 1, Episode 3 of Call the Midwife, which is something I've only just got into this. And Adam the plumber texted me last night and he said, you've got an awful lot of binge watching to do to catch up with that one. It's been going for years, isn't it? Well, I'd never seen it before. And of course, this was set, I think it's set in the 50s, the late 50s. Am I right with that? Anyone know? The first series. And it's just full of hilarious one-liners. Absolutely full of it. And there was one bit that really made me laugh. And this lady was having a baby. And they were saying, oh, and she kept going, while screaming and sweating and all this, because it wasn't her first one. Oh, I don't want this. I'm scared. Anyway, she has the baby eventually. She said, why are you scared? It might be black. And I just found that absolutely hilarious because in those days, that's just how it was then. That was wouldn't bother anyone these days. Wouldn't bother any of this. We don't care anymore. Give and give alike. That's what I say. But in those days, and it was just the way it was done. Oh my God, it was so funny. Anyway, she had the baby in the end. And what she was worried about, I don't think it was the fact that she was having a black baby that was worrying her. She'd just met this white husband. And she didn't think it was his. Anyway, the baby came out and it was lovely. It was so nice. The baby came out, and eventually they called the husband in. He's an older bloke, I suppose, in his 40s, and he came into the birthing room. I don't know what you call it, a hospital room or whatever it was. No, it was a bedroom. He was called up to the bedroom, and everyone's going quiet, and they're watching him as he comes in, like that. What's he going to say? And he goes over and he says, "Well, let's see the baby then." And they show him the baby. And then everything goes quiet and dead. And he looks and he thinks, oh no, what's going to happen now? And he says, what a beautiful baby. Can I hold him? And it was, it brought a tear to your eye. It was so wonderful. It was so wonderful. And why can't people just love each other like that? Doesn't matter what they look like or who they are or what size they are or whatever. It was so nice. And he said to her, what are we going to call him? And she says, you decide the name. And he said, can we call him Edward? That's a family name. And so they called him Edward. And then, you'll at the end of the show, you see him. He's pushing the pram, actually. And he's going to one of those places where all the babies go. I think a hospital or something, where they get checked over every now and again. And no one bats an eyelid. No one bats an eyelid. I love it. I love it. If you've never seen it, watch it from the beginning. As I say, I'm only on Series 1, Episode 3, and it's called Call the Midwife. But when she was having a baby, I'm scared it's black. That's how it was in those days. Not anymore, fortunately. Not anymore, I'm very pleased to say. So that was last night. After our show, we had a little nighttime show last night, so thanks for joining us for that. It was, as I say, I was absolutely lashing it down last night while I was laying there in bed, and it sends you to sleep, doesn't it? Sends you to sleep. In fact, on my Amazon Echo, I've actually got rain sounds, which are there's all different sounds. Now, what's it called? Sleep. Oh God, sleep sounds. So if you say, Amazon Echo, sleep sounds heavy rain, it plays it. I think there's also ocean. I mentioned this before. There's ocean. I think there's jungle noises with little birds and things singing like that. Oh, it's wonderful. Wonderful. But last night, didn't need any of that. The rain was lashing down on my roof. But the leak in the bathroom, as I say, it's not much. It doesn't like trickle in. Now and again, you get a little drop. That's about it. So there's a bucket under there, and the boys will come and fix that. I didn't tell you why I was having all the gas pipes done, did I? Under the caravan. When they did the bathroom, the bloke checked all the gas, and I mentioned to him that the gas bottle seems to freeze if it's really cold, the gas bottle freezes, and I have to go out with a kettle full of warm water, pour it over the top of the gas bottle, and then it starts working. He said, no, it won't be the gas bottle. He said they're good, I think down to -20 or something like that, which we never get here, -20. He said, it'll be your pipes. Let me go and have a look. And he had a look, and he said, yeah, they're really old pipes. He said they could do with being replacing. And then he looked underneath. He said, you need them all done, mate, really. And then that will stop that. Also, the new water heater I had installed, it was on maximum. You know, it is certainly better than the last one. The last one, the shower was a bit pathetic coming out. This one's much better. And that was round full because the water heater couldn't get enough gas because the pipe was too narrow. So that's why I had that done. And the boys, as I say, they finished the work. Yes, they've got to come back and do something to the roof, unfortunately. A bit of flashing on. But that was done. And so we've got all these thick pipes, brand new pipes, thick pipes, and a new thing that goes on top of the gas bottle. Now, what's that called? Regulator. Okay, so yesterday was the first time I tried that out. My God, the water's so hot now. Yeah, I had to turn it down on the boiler. So that was well worth doing. I got the most fantastic shower in here now. Really works well. So that was the reason I had all those pipes done. All right, now let's say a quick hello to some of you this morning. Mick Davenport, morning. Jason, oh, Mick's first today. Congratulations, Mick. First one of the messages, morning, Mick. Jason Hughes, Mr. SOS Gregorian, Fran Green, Mandy Davenport, Gavin Bass. Gavin, you're there every morning. Morning, Gavin. When is your radio show on? Is there a little link that you want to post? Or actually, links don't work within the chat box. It won't let you do them. Just tell us what station you're on and what time, and people can search and perhaps have a little listen to you and what time you're on. Put the information up there, Gavin, so we all know, darling. All right, hello to John Aitken. Morning, John. Johnny Boy in the house. John's been posting old pictures of himself. And I have to say, you don't look too bad, to be honest. I can't lie to you, John. You don't look too bad at all, my love. If you're watching on Facebook Live or any other platform, just keep an eye on that message at the bottom there. That will tell you what's going to happen in a few minutes. You only get the first few minutes of the show. Okay, we also can't see your chat messages. You have to join us on YouTube and go in the chat box in there. Ever so easy, youtube.com/Chris Reardon UK. Okay, hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications button. You'll see today's show, it'll say live. Click on there and you should get the chat box open and you can join in with the chat or read other people's conversations as well. Because if you want to read all the conversations, go on there. Because I can't read every single message out. It's just impossible, I'm afraid. All right, my darlings. Hello to Ray Reynolds. Good morning, Ray, who says, I'm here. So am I, Ray. People haven't noticed yet, but I am actually here. Believe it or not, I am here. Morning to Mark Bowles. Hello, young Mark. All right. What colour is your hair today, Mark? Is it blue still? Blue. Is it? I used to like the pop group Blue. Did you? Yeah. All Rise. La 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 la. All rise, all rise. I love that song. And didn't they do one with Elton John? Excellent. I used to like the pop band Blue. They were fit, weren't they? I think they spent the entire lives down the blooming gym, dear. Morning to Mike Rees-Ponto. Good morning, young Mike. He's over in Cyprus. Hello to Michael Pullman. Good morning, young Michael. Michael Lawrence in the house. There's my nephew, Gary Butler, with blue spanner. With blue, which I spotted, incidentally. Was that your blue spanner I saw around your mum's house yesterday? Why has it been left round there? Do you not like the gifts that I give you? Very, very disappointed, Gary. Very, very disappointed. Good morning to Sean Pye. Hello, young Sean. Morning, Tony King. We're all here this morning. Look at that. Nice and early. There's the lovely Claire. Do you ever look back at your old shows, or is it once they're gone, they're gone? No, never. No, no point. The only time I'll look back at an old show is if I'm redoing the closing video. And then I look for clips that I think might be of an amusement, or things that would look good in like just a few seconds on that closing video. That's the only time I really look at old shows. That being said, I've occasionally watched a couple of my Barry Manilow videos when I've been to the concerts and done like little clips of that. You wouldn't be allowed to film. I mean, well, you couldn't do it anyway. You wouldn't be allowed to film the whole show. I always find it really disappointing when people go to concerts and they've got a webcam, not a webcam, a mobile phone, right? And number one, what annoys me is when they film it like this, right? So you only get that bit. That just annoys me. And the other thing is when they're filming, they're like this, right? They can't keep the blooming arm still. If you're going to film something, whether it's you or a concert, you need it like that and hold the damn thing still. And if you want to move it across, then do it, but slowly. But most people, they're like this, you know, in front of poor old Justin Bieber. They're like this and they're dancing away and it's just awful. And they upload these things to Facebook and YouTube and places like that. I fail to see how anyone can watch that for more than a couple of seconds, because I can't. You've got to hold it still and that way and move it slowly from one place to the other. Claire, do you watch my old shows then? I know some people like to see, you know, how absolutely stunningly good looking I was a few years ago. But time passes, doesn't it? Time, you found time enough to love, and I found love enough to hold you. So tonight, I feel I should sing a song today, don't you? Should I sing a little song today? Thank you very much. Good morrow. Oh, yes. Don't forget to hit that little like button, the thumbs up button, please. We need more We're desperate. We need more thumbs up. Thank you very much, my darling. Scrolling. Morning to Brendan Brady fan. John Aitken, good morning. Gary. Scroll, let me give you some name text there. Sean, girls having babies now. I don't care what colour it is, as long as they got Wi-Fi in the hospital. Yeah, absolutely. That's the most important thing. It's not having, you know, a baby. It's having good Wi-Fi in the hospital. Absolutely. Actually, that's got a lot better. I have to say, there was what was the company? The Cloud. Oh, it just was so slow sometimes. Most of the hospitals have got good Wi-Fi now, which is useful when you're sitting there in a waiting room like I was last Thursday for 4 hours waiting to be seen. But, you know, I got seen and it wasn't an emergency, so not complaining, not complaining. John, Call the Midwife and Midsummer Murders are my favourite programmes. I'm officially a middle-aged man. Well, that's how it is, John. But you've had a good time so far and many, many years to come by the look of you. Which is not the same I can say for some of the people on here. I look at some of you and I think, Christ, you've got about a week left. You know. Midsummer Murders. My Auntie Brenda, was watching that last night. I try and call her every day, Auntie Brenda. I must say, I'm not the most patient of people. I've got to be honest with you. I'm really not the most patient of people. And if things are not moving along, oh, come on. I was the same with my mum and dad. It was awful. You know, and as people get older, they get slower anyway. I think I'm slower now. You know, I can't be rushing from place to place for an appointment, you know, timing it to the second. Oh, all right. Well, the appointment's at 2 o'clock. Therefore, we need to leave the house at exactly 1 hour, because it takes 1 hour according to the sat nav. And then you get caught in traffic and it's all panic. No. I'd rather leave at 10 o'clock for a 12 o'clock appointment, even if the journey says it's only going to take an hour. And you're in traffic, you just take it easy, don't you? A little bit of traffic, doesn't matter. You know, I could sit here for an hour and I still won't be late. I can't stand being late. I hate it. But I used to rush things along. And sometimes when Auntie Brenda, she's on her own, lost her husband, lovely man, Uncle Malcolm, some years ago. And when I ring, it tends to be the same conversation all the time, you know. But remember, you're doing something for them by ringing. I think there are times when I'm the only person who she speaks to in a day. And it's only for sometimes less than a minute. But I ring up and I say, hello, Auntie Brenda, how are you? And then she'll open the conversation with, oh, it's not been too bad today. You know, whether it's been raining, howling, 5 hurricanes have merged on each other, pouring down with snow, she'll start the conversation. Well, it's not been too bad today, has it? And I'm like, no, not really. And then she'd tell us where she's been shopping. It'll probably be Berkhamsted. Then she'll read a piece of depressing news from the here. Did you hear about that boy who got stabbed? Something like that. It'd never be a piece of happy news. And then she'd get confused with oh, bless her heart. And then kind of the call will finish. And I'm kind of just listening. Sometimes I'd try and interject with part of a conversation, but she just doesn't hear it. I think she might be going a little bit deaf as well. Doesn't hear it, but it doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter. That phone call, I think, is really important to her. So if you've got an elderly relative, perhaps, who lives on their own, I mean, I've seen a lot of loneliness in my 56 years when people, mainly not like for the whole of their lives, I must say, sort of when someone dies and a couple, one is left alone, you know, like nans. Even when I was 16, I was aware like Nanny Ryan, who lived in Roehampton, not far from us. Whenever we went up to see her, all I saw was this little old lady in her flat in Roehampton watching the television on her own. Because that's what it was. That's what it was. And then Nanny Hayes, I used to look around Nanny Hayes' house. She lived in Peckham, and there were photos everywhere of, you know, obviously my mum and dad, Auntie Brenda, Uncle Michael. They were her three children, and then there was us, you know, as smaller children, of course. Little photos everywhere. And I thought to myself, I think I'm going to be like this. I'm going to be surrounded by photos of family. And actually now I am. I've got a few in here, but mainly at home. Everywhere there's pictures. There's my mum and my dad and my sister. There's great nephew Harry, great nephew George, great niece Evie, great niece Emily. There's James, there's Olivia, there's Gary, there's Jimmy, there's Tracy, there's Stacey, there's Ben, and they're photos of everyone everywhere in the living room. And sometimes I look at those and I thought, I remember when I was a little boy, looking around my nan's house and thinking, I'll have all photos around me at some point like this. And now that's how it is. You know, so if you've got an elderly relative, perhaps, who's on their own, give them a call. Give them a call. You haven't much. You really haven't. The conversation tends to come the other way. But that probably means an awful lot to them if you can find the time to do that. And if, like me, you're not too patient, well, that's okay. You know, just let them ramble on and be there to listen. Very important to have people listen, I think. Not everyone listens. This is why some people get depressed, because they can't find anyone to listen to them. They just cast it aside. You know, you try and have a conversation with them and they'll either leave you alone, really. Let me just close that little monitor there. Okay. Oh, God. We lost our connection there. Oh, dear. How long ago did that go off then? Hello? Are we back? Dear. How long ago did that go off? Damn thing. Oh, God. Are we back? Is that on there? I don't even know if that's on. I'll have to check. I shall double check for you. Just a moment. Just a moment. Let me see if that's working now. Does that mean our phone has been, our program has been split into 2 halves today? That just disappeared then, didn't it? Never mind. Don't say we're going to start having trouble. We had a minor bit of trouble last night, I must say. Where are we now? Is that all right now? Dashboard. Where's dashboard? There it is. Dashboard. I think we're back there. Let's have a look. Are we back? Says offline, doesn't it? Says offline. Oh, there we go. There we go. Picture should come back there. Okay. There we are. It's not the equipment here. It's the It's the 3 internet here. I can only have 3 internet here, unfortunately. There is no cable internet. It's all 4G over 3, and they are the best signal here. Sorry about that. Are we back on the same channel as a matter of interest, or did it open into another little box? I don't know how far I got there. Oh, the bell says no one ever listens to me, so quite possibly you actually heard most of the conversation there. You heard most of the conversation there, I'm sure. So what did we lose there? 1,300 frames there. I don't know how long that is. Probably about a minute on. We're back on the same one. Oh, that's good. Well, that's good. Oh, I'm pleased about that because I had an actual red light come on, which usually means the connection is completely dropped. But it came on, so it's come back on the same one. Well, that is interesting. I thought we'd get cut off there. But anyway, I mean, I don't know how much of that you heard. I was just getting to the bit where like people with depression, and you go and see someone like a counsellor because basically no one listens. You'll be talking to someone about your issues, and then they'll interject with something like, they start going about their own agenda, and I'm thinking, did you actually listen to me? Or other people that might say, oh, depression, it's just a myth, you've got to get up and get on with it. No, that doesn't always happen. And just by saying that, you think, oh, well, you're not the right one to talk to then, are you? Stuff like that. You have to understand depression. And if you don't want to help someone, then fine, just walk off. But find someone else who does. Really. And that's how it works. Michael, I think you should pay more attention to the show, dear, and understand how this show comes to you from the caravan, which I've gone over countless times, my dear. 5G. Do you know where you can get 5G, Michael? Are you aware where you can get 5G? You think we can get it out here in the middle of the country? You think there's a 5G thing? We can't even get 4G out here. There's one provider on this site where we can get 4G with. That's 3. That's 3, and that's who I have to be with. Therefore, we are at the mercy of the 3 telephone network here, and when it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and that's the way it is. There you are. Mick says we never listen to you, Chris. Oh, I know that. Ha, 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 ha. Oh, you heard the whole conversation, Alan. Excellent. Excellent. I wonder if I'm just sending out too much signal. Because I upped the resolution. Mind you, it has been perfectly all right. I'll drop the resolution a little bit tomorrow. And we'll see. Anyway, that's the thing there. Let's just scroll up there. John says, my oldest friend Simon is 71 today. Met him on his 20th birthday at the Royal Oak in Hammersmith. Oh, my God, that place, yeah. Yeah, I remember that. It's a shame that place closed. What happened there, John? The Royal Oak was a pub in Hammersmith. I used to go to it as well, John, when I was in my 20s. What happened there is it was a bit of a dump. And they done it up, didn't they? They spent an absolute fortune on this place. But the worst thing they did, and Dolly DJ would tell you this, the worst thing they did was move the stage from the back to the side. Okay? They did a very similar thing at the Black Cap. They did a similar thing at the Black Cap. The stage and the DJ box was on the middle of the back of the stage. So you came into the pub, similar to the Royal Oak, and right in front of you is the stage and the DJ. Okay? Well, they did the same at the Black Cap. The stage was carried on being at the end, but they moved the DJ to be at the end of the bar facing the stage. So when you came into the pub, right, you basically had your back to the audience. And it killed it. That's what killed the Black Cap for a while. And that's also what killed the Royal Oak. And they put this hydraulic stage in. You could push a button and it went up and down like that. But which cost, I think, £500,000 for this stage. For what? So you'd come in and the stage and the DJ would be on the side. And it just didn't work. Killed the pub. Killed the pub, unfortunately. Scrolling. There we are. Gavin Bass. Embrace Radio. Saturday 12 till 2, Sunday 12 to 2, and Sunday 4 till 6. Oh, he's on twice on there. He's on twice. Good God. Don't mention Manilow. Looks like we made it. Oh, God. Dear. So who said they're pushing a baby out now? Was that Mark? I missed that now. I've lost it now. Gavin says, I've been in a caravan and the rain sends you to sleep. Oh, it absolutely does. It absolutely does. It's the most lovely sound. And if you've got one of those Amazon Echo, try Sleep Sounds Ocean. And that's the waves on a shore, which is nice. DJ Dolly called me his toy boy. He was a lovely chap. I went to his funeral. It's some year, it must be about 10 years ago, in somewhere in Wales, beginning with 2 L's. I mean, that could be anywhere, couldn't it? But I got a speeding ticket on the way there. I had a Land Rover. Oh no, it must be 20 years. It's got to be 20 years ago. I had a Land Rover. I was tearing down the M4. And there was a camera on the gantry at Cardiff. Apparently, it gets everyone, that camera. It's a long time ago now. I think probably the people that looked at the pictures probably were quite surprised that a Land Rover could actually go that fast. Anyway, there we are. So that's my thoughts on people listening. You know, got someone old, give them a ring. You know, don't let them sit on their own. Do give them a ring, okay? I can't believe they're fundraising money. Thank you, Info Scuba Diving. Christ, what's that say? Land Fair Gwynny El Groggery Shield of a place in Wales. Llanelli, was it Llanelli? Llanelli. Does that sound right? Llanelli. That sounds about right. Llanelli. I did go to that. Morning to Adrian Richardson. Good morning. Now, listen, I've been seeing this on the news. I cannot believe, right, that Boris... Have I got the story here? Oh, I thought I had that... Oh, here it is. I can't believe that Boris is thinking about getting a fundraiser so that Big Ben can strike. Now, I'm all for Big Ben chiming on the day of Brexit. I quite like that idea. But a fundraiser... I'd say, why don't you just get the cash out of the blooming government bank and spend it? But I don't think you need to do that. Why does the bell have to be up there? You know, what they could do, fairly simply, is get up, take a few speakers up to the top of the Elizabeth Tower, which is where Big Ben is. Big Ben is the name of the bell, you see, right? Of course, bells are very, very heavy, and I believe it's been removed at the moment because they're redoing the floor in there. They're doing something, making the floor all waterproof and all that. So that's why the thing can't chime. It's not just the bell. You must imagine, you know, they've got a whacking great big heavy hammer that drops off and hits the bell in a certain way. And plus all the mechanics and the electricals to go with it. Now, I understand... I'm not 100% sure of this, but this stuff is either been removed or is out of action at the moment. The easiest way to do it would be to take up a few very large loudspeakers, attach a recording of Big Ben, and at the right moment push the button and just have the chimes out. What's the problem with that? That's not going to cost £500,000 to do that. You know, you don't even have to buy the speakers. Go and hire some. There's plenty of places. Don't mean to tell me, you know, that they can fill Hyde Park with music, but they can't get a few bells to ring out from Big Ben. Just put a couple of speakers up there. Much cheaper. But Boris was saying, I find it hard to believe, the PM suggested the public could crowdfund the huge sum. So crowdfunds the huge sum. And Brexiteers were quick to pledge their report. I mean, pro-Brexiteer and philanthropologist Lord... What's that? What's one of those? A philanthropologist, Lord Ashcroft, said he would underwrite the fund by £100,000 if it fell short. Brexit boss Nigel Farage told The Sun Big Ben must bong. If the government aren't prepared to pay the costs, then the people will. It's 160 years old, the Elizabeth clock. It's currently silent during a 4-year-long renovation. I feel sorry for the tourists. You know, I don't suppose the tourists for 1 minute realise that Big Ben and the Houses of Parliament are completely surrounded by scaffolding and boards at the moment. You can't see a thing. You can't see any of it at all. House of Commons chief turned down 60 pro-Brexit MPs pleased to reconnect the clock spells for Brexit on the grounds of spiralling costs. It's always the case, isn't it? You know, when a government decide to do something and they get the cost, it just goes up and up. Look at that blooming train. HS1 or 2, whatever it is. And that tunnel thing that's going through London, the Crossrail thing. Christ, how much does this stuff... They come out, it's going to cost us, £500,000. And then suddenly it's £2 million. Can't afford it. Well, do you think we should pay the money? Will you donate money to have Big Ben bonging? Dong... You just take up a recording and a couple of speakers. He can borrow mine if he wants. I've got a couple of nice speakers. I don't mind. As long as he sorts out my parking. I can't be going out, stopping outside the Houses of Parliament, taking my speakers out and getting a parking ticket from one of those horrible people that must die and be punished. The speaker, we got a new speaker in there, Sir Lindsay Hoyle. Sir Lindsay Hoyle said the original estimate of £120,000, but it would set back ongoing work for weeks. So if they take the bell up, everything else has to stop, which is why it's going to cost so much. You see, all this other work that's been paid for will then be delayed. But it goes on in the Sun. Brexiteers were left furious, claiming the move has already been authorised twice in the last 2 months to see the clock bong for Remembrance Sunday, as well as New Year's Eve. Of course it did, didn't it? I never thought about that. Yes, New Year's Eve it bongs. So, I mean, they get it up for that, don't they? So why can't they get it up? Anyway, that's Big Ben. But I find it amusing that, like, a government building like that, and then Boris comes on the telly, and he comes on the telly and says, we're thinking of doing a crowdfunding. It's mad. Absolute madness. Mikey Mike, the clapper. Yes. SOS Gregorian, you should be the new Prime Minister. No thanks, mate. No thanks. Not when you've got dodgy character interviewers. I mean, can you just imagine being all interviewed by that awful Kay Burley? Or Naga Monchetti? One of those two. Oh, no, thank you very much. No, thank you. We won't be doing any of that. Thank you, Alan. We were talking about the depression. He agrees with me. Yes, you don't find anyone to listen to, or they know best. They don't understand. When I had the depression, there were plenty of people that walked away. You'd be surprised at who, or just don't understand it. They have their idea, and not many people seem to listen to specialists anymore, do they? You come across those people, oh, well, I've decided this, and I don't know, you take it, what could we talk about? Cars, cars, you've got a good car, got a good write-up in what car and all that business. No, you don't want to take any notice of that, mate. This, and this, and all this, They know better, always. And it goes with everything, through, like, I don't know, eating certain meals, I suppose. Going to the doctor, or the doctor says, no, you don't want to listen to any of that. No, because that's all rubbish. Because I read on the internet. Yeah, right. Don't read anything on the internet if you're ill. Never, ever look it up on the internet. Never. I saw something in my doctor's records and I have not looked that up. I'm not looking that up on the internet. Thank you very much. But yes, you have to seek advice, and if you don't want to listen to anyone, any so-called expert, well, don't seek the advice then. Don't seek the advice. There's also plenty of people who are experts. You'll say something and they'll come back with the answer, which is completely incorrect, but they are convinced that is the answer, and there's nothing you can do to change their minds. It's true. John wishes he was Guy Fawkes and his gang had blown up the Houses of Parliament. We wouldn't have this poo going on now. Oh no, that's all sorted now, John. Have you not noticed how calm they all are since the Brexit thing is happening now? They've all gone very calm, haven't they? Gone calm. I'm feeling calm this morning, actually, John. Mick, tell Boris if he sends me a pen, I'll super chat him so Big Ben can be repaired. Perhaps you could do it yourself. We could hoist you up there in your wheelchair. Have you got a little blue spanner? Oh, no, you haven't. Actually, I could send my nephew up there, Gary Butler. He's recently collected a blue spanner. He can go up there and start tightening those old nuts, screwing the screws in and adjusting the hammer. Bong! We love it. We love it. 500 people to donate £1. Well, yeah, I get that, Mike, but I just don't see why we should have to pay for something like that. That's a government thing, the bell, isn't it? Christ, dip your head. They've got all this money to spend on other crap. You know, like that, like fast trains and extensions to airports and things like that. Can't we have Big Ben working as well, please? A fraction of the cost of HS1 or 2. You know, I don't know. They should fill Big Ben with Amazon, then Welsh it. I've done that. I've tried that one. Perhaps that's what they could do. They could go up there and have lots of the Amazon echoes, right? There's actually there is a station actually called Big Ben. I kid you not. Hang on, I've got it on here. Let's fire this up. It's just getting to 10 o'clock. Oh, that's perfect, right? So you'll hear this on. I have an app called TuneIn Radio, right? And these are radio stations from millions and millions of radio stations. One of which is, I think it's Big Ben. Hang on, I've got it. I've actually. How sad is this? I've got the saved as a favourite. Big Ben FM. There we are. Big Ben FM, right? And it plays Big Ben. Right. Oh, actually, it won't play Big Ben, will it? Because Big Ben isn't working. We'll see what happens. So can you hear that? It's a bit hissy because that's actually a microphone in there. If you listen carefully, you can hear traffic. Can you hear that? Right, let's see if that actually goes off. If it does, then we know it's a recording, won't we? Unless they've got some sort of speakers up there at the moment. Is that annoying, that hissing? That is actually Big Ben FM. And it plays Big Ben. They could hoist a lot, and that's available on the Amazon as well. So you can say, Amazon, play Big Ben FM. And it will just switch onto that. And then at the top of the hour, you'll get the bongs and all that business. We'll see if that happens. Because it's nearly 10 o'clock now. I don't think it'll happen, really. Good. We got a bit more buffering. Well, we'll work through it. We'll work through it. Don't worry too much. I'd rather give Chris £1 rather than the establishment. Good. 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 I'm actually going to reduce the quality of the outgoing video, but you probably won't even notice. Only if you're on a massive telly. It won't be that much different. But I can't do it while the show is on. I have to stop the show, adjust things, and start again. So we won't do that today. All right. Okie doke. What else was I doing? Oh, my brother-in-law's got another channel which I was watching last night. Butler's Empire. Butler's Empire channel. And I learned something about my brother-in-law last night that I never knew. He is a trained fitness instructor. Did you know that? Yes, I didn't know that. But he didn't go into fitness training. He said because the money just wasn't in it. You couldn't really make any money out of it. So that's why he didn't go into it. And on his show, there's 3 parts to the show. I've watched the first 2 so far. He talks about when he got diabetes. That's not going to chime, is it? Is it gone 10 now? No, so that's obviously not going to chime. But there is Big Ben FM. So they've actually got a microphone in Big Ben, and you hear everything that's going on, which is fantastic. If it was working, no bongs at the moment. Yeah, he was talking about when he got diabetes, and he went to the doctor, and they wanted to treat it with, I think, drugs, and you've got to go on these drugs, but he weren't having any of that, so he's been trying to diet out of it, and he gave some numbers which I didn't quite understand. Because I don't understand the diabetic scale. I think this blood thing was like 10 one morning, and then he went on this special diet for his diabetes, and he got it down to 5, which is apparently a good thing. And then there was another number that he mentioned, that he checked himself, he was on 90 before the diet, and then after the diet that came down to 45, something like that, which is very good. And the doctor says, no, you're always going to be on these medications, but he didn't want the medications. So he started diet, and he's been dieting his way out of it, which you can do. Type 2, I think it was type 2 diabetes he had. Type 2 diabetes, yeah. So he's talking about that there. And now, of course, he's trying to be a vegetarian. So he's been doing that for just over a week now. And in the first week, he lost 10 pounds. He lost vegetarian. It can be a good way of losing weight, but if one of those things that you're eating is bags of crisps and chocolate, you might not help the situation. Yeah, you can't just cut out meat and you'll lose weight. Doesn't work like that. You know, there's plenty of vegetarian stuff that is very, very fattening, like crisps. That's probably, I would imagine, crisps are worse than chocolate. I'm only guessing, but that's two things there. Because he was saying he wants to be. He was saying to my sister on the video, he wants to be a Greek god. There's only one Greek god here. That's me, Martin, sitting here now. Look at me. Look at the peak of my fitness. So I was saying that, and it's very interesting actually. So give that a watch, the Butler's Empire channel, and look for it's parts. What it says, the title is "We're Coming Back," Part 1, and then there's Part 2, and the first one's about. They're all about 20 minutes long. These videos, okay, and then he shows you what he's been a couple of the meals that he was having. One of which looked he did this omelette. Oh my god, I mean, you would die to have that omelette. It looked beautiful, because what my sister and brother-in-law do when they do omelettes, you know, first of all you do it in the pan, but they don't finish it off in the pan. Okay, so they do one side. When that's done, they don't try and flip it, because often then you can just destroy the omelette and it was all in bits. Still edible, of course, but it all ends up in bits and pieces. You want a whole omelette. So when they've done it on the cooker, they then put it under the grill. And this omelette looked absolutely fantastic, I've got to say. He had in it onions, mushrooms and spinach, which is something I must admit that I've never really eaten before. And when they put it in the pan, in the frying pan, it seems there was an awful lot of it, especially the spinach. But the spinach very quickly just kind of melted into the rest of it. It looked beautiful, this omelette. Absolutely beautiful. It really did. So I might have to try that one myself. Get myself some spinach or something and do an omelette like that. But I like to have chips with omelette. Slimming World chips are all right. That's okay. You can have as many of those as you want. You just don't fry them in oil. Just a quick spray with that stuff. But it looked really good. And then he was talking to my sister because she fell over recently. They were out for a walk. It's funny, in the video my sister was saying how fast my brother-in-law walks, and he does. He doesn't walk. He marches at speed. And you have trouble keeping up with him. You do. And my sister, unfortunately, her ankle gave way. She says she didn't fall down a hole or anything. Her ankle just literally gave way and she went down. And no one came to help her except my brother-in-law. It's a good job he was there, really. And she grazed her knee. Poor sister, she had a grazed knee, which used to happen to me a lot in chariots. I used to get terrible grazed knees in chariots, which is a little club I used to go to. But there you go, it's one of those things. So that's it. As I say, that omelette, you would die to have that omelette. You would absolutely die to have that omelette. It looked beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So there you go. Have a look at that one, the Butler's Empire channel. All right. Come on, gang. Let's have some thumbs up under those videos. Thumbs up under those videos. Thank you. Fran Green is in charge of thumbs up. Fran is in charge of thumbs up, aren't you, my darling? Good morning, Fran. And yeah, let's have some of the ladies talking as well on here. It's not like a lads chat room. We'll see the ladies chatting to each other as well. It's like Popeye. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man, says Mick. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. Who was the woman in Popeye? Olive. It was Olive, weren't it? She was this little sick insect. Good morning to George Bond this morning. Morning to you. Morning. The bills are tolling, yes. Big Ben is bonging. Not here. Not here at the moment. I think some of you are a little bit behind on the stream, actually. Have a look at the clock there. Just check you're up with the rest of us. I think some of you are running a little bit behind there, which happens sometimes. It's the old internet thing, I'm afraid. I'm not quite sure why we're having a little bit of a buffering issue yesterday. And last night we had it a little bit, but it only seems to last for about 30 seconds. 30 seconds or so. I can see how many dropped frames. 2.5% dropped frames, which is quite high today. But at least it hasn't cut off, has it? So stick with it. Do I assume that the audio is perfectly all right? Is it only the picture that we're having the buffing with? actually. I think it's only the picture. It's not. It's you're hearing all the audio, aren't we? So it's not too much. I always think the audio is more important than the picture. You know, if you were watching a really bad video, then you could go off and do. Well, most people do go off and do something while I'm doing this. LaBelle's a few hours behind. There you go. Jason says it's 10:06. 10. Gary Butler's. How can it be 10:15, Gary? I'm coming over tonight. I've got something for your wife. Shall I go and get it, or shall I surprise her? Do you know what it is? Do you know what I've got your wife tonight? Have you any idea? The delightful Stacey. She looks after me when I go around that house. I'll tell you that. Only the picture. Oh, so you're okay. The audio is fine. Fran, audio and pitch. Sound is okay. Right, okay, thank you. So generally the sound's all right. My sister refuses point blank to stop eating not stop eating dead animals, doesn't she? Nope, she carries on. My sister very strong-willed. She doesn't usually listen to anyone, certainly not me. Early night for Gary. Chris is coming round in bed by 8. No, he'll be up there. We'll be there. Me and great nephew Harry will be farting away in that living room later. Much to the disappointment of my nephew Gary, his dad. SOS Gregorian wants to make 2 complaints. One for missing the bell tolling banging, and the other for dropping frames at least twice there. Nothing I can do about that, you know that. Nothing. I'm gonna drop the resolution a little bit tomorrow. You won't even notice. You certainly won't notice it on an iPad or a phone. Maybe on a really big screen you might notice a very, very slight degradation, but it should be okay. But as I say, I can't do it halfway through the show. If I do it now, you see all the stuff in the top left-hand corner, the flag and all that. That will move into another part of the picture. Everything has to be readjusted. I'll do that straight away. Anyway. George Bond, yeah, it's 1978 where Tony is. I wish it was Tony. I think we're all happy in the 70s, weren't we? I mean, people go on about, I've heard this, who is it? Our friend Nick Abbott on the radio, and he says, you don't realise how bad it was in the 70s. Yeah, but I think we were all happy. Oh, but maybe that's because I was a child then, it's a child's eye. 78, 63, 73, 4, 5, 6, 7. I was 15, dodgy teenager at 15. Christ, the planes are going over today, aren't they? Did I miss the bonging at 10 o'clock on Big Ben FM? Did I? All right. Well, okay. Let's just fire this up again. Oh, I've got text here. Hang on a minute. Just got a text here. I'll fire that up again. Hang on a minute. Big Ben FM. Actually, no, you know what I'll do? Alexa, volume 8. Alexa, play Big Ben FM.
Big Ben FM from TuneIn.
Right. So if that bongs now, my Amazon's playing that. So if that bongs now, we should be able to hear that from here. We'll just leave that running now, okay? Perhaps it was bonging at 10. I missed that. I hope you're not lying to me, one man and his sprinter. Have you got it fired up as well? You just have, that's all it does. Every 15 minutes it plays the bells, so we should get the 10:15 one if that one's working, or maybe that one isn't working. Maybe it just does the hour. I don't know. Have I got dinner and hot chocolate tonight? I haven't. Really? Has she done the hot chocolate? Oh my God! Now listen. I'll try and remember to take a picture or a very short video of Stacey's hot chocolate tonight. Now, I've never ever been a fan of hot chocolate. I went once in Hotel Chocolat because they do it in there. And I had a cup of this stuff, and I thought, oh, this is quite nice. The second time I went in, I didn't really like it as much, and it's polystyrene cup of hot chocolate. I've never liked the powdered hot chocolates. Cadbury's do one. Galaxy do one. You've got your own brand ones in the shops. And I've never really been a fan of hot chocolate. So on Christmas Eve, I was round my nephew's house, And I don't mind admitting to you, and she said, "Oh, look what I've got for later." And she lifted the lid on the slow cook. The slow cooker is this big. This is massive. So she said, "Look what I've got." And it was, I said, "What's that?" She said, "It's hot chocolate." So, not wanting to hurt someone's feelings, "Oh, that looks delicious." And I thought, "Oh, I'm not going to be forced to drink some of that, am I?" You know how it is, but you don't want to hurt people's feelings. You know, you wouldn't say anything else. I said, "That looks absolutely delicious." And then she was telling me what was in it. She said I don't know what she said. She said there's cream in there and there's actual bars of Cadbury's dairy milk chocolate that she'd melted into this slow cooker. I don't know how long it had been on, but nevertheless, it was all bubbling away and it smelt absolutely delicious. It smelt like a bar of chocolate. Sorry, Martin, I've turned his Amazon on. We're trying to get... Actually, probably you've all got that switched on now, have you? Big Ben FM. We're trying to see if Big Ben chimes at 10:15 on the... Because that's an app I was talking about earlier. So anyway. Oh, I heard there was a lorry going, but you can hear all the traffic as well coming out of this speaker. So anyway, so we had the dinner. And then a little bit later... I think it was one of the children bought me in this cup of Stacey's hot chocolate, and I'm thinking, oh God, I'm going to have to drink this now, and it's going to be horrible. Incorrect. Oh my God, it was one of the most lovely drinks, other than tea, that I have ever had in my life. And she put little marshmallows. She put little pink and white marshmallows on the top, which were literally melting into this chocolate. It was like drinking a bar of Cadbury's dairy milk chocolate. It was absolutely delicious. And according to Gary, I've got that tonight. Gary, can I buy some bars of chocolate to replace what you've put in there? I feel like I must do something in return. So I wonder what I've got for dinner then. Is it a surprise? Is it a surprise? We like surprises. Surprise, surprise. The honesty that hits you between the eyes. La 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 la. Gets a surprise, you say. Surprise, surprise. Was it buffering yesterday morning? Oh, we didn't do a show yesterday morning. I've just had a thought. Which might be something to do with the buffering. Because I've now connected the other computer by wire to the thing. And it was working off the Wi-Fi before. I wonder if that's affected it. I'll tell you what. I'll leave the resolution as it is and go back to the other one using the Wi-Fi, actually. This is the Wi-Fi that works. It's a tiny little thing. Look at it. That plugs into the front of the computer and gives me Wi-Fi. I might try that. I wonder if it's something to do with plugging the other wire directly into the router. Possibly. I'll try that before I reduce the resolution there. Okay. So looking forward to that later. Dinner and hot chocolate. Oh, I love it. Let's see what you're saying. What's the weather? What, affecting the signal? I don't think that would affect the internet signal, to be honest, the weather. I'm not sure that would do that. Right, what else have we got here? In 1978, LaBelle was 2 years old, bless her. Was you cheeky little baby? I bet you was, LaBelle. Were you already doing drag at 2 years old? Nothing wrong with that, my love. I've set everyone's Alexas off, have I? Oh, well. Mick, very fat and incorrect. Yes, but you see, Mick, if you're on Slimming World, you can have a treat now and again. I don't know if you've ever done it. You're allowed so many sins a day, okay? And you can save them up. So if you have no sins Monday, Tuesday, you're allowed 15 sins a day, I think, as a man. 50, I think men and women are slightly different. Actually, is it 20? I can't remember. Could say 15. So you're allowed 15 sins a day. I have normally hardly any sins on a day. Hardly any sins. Okay? So you can save these up. So if you go 3 days with 0 sins, you can have something that's like 30 sins on another day. Correct. Very fattening, but it's okay to do that now and again. You don't want to cut out everything, otherwise there's never anything to look forward to. And I'm looking forward to a large bag of cheese and onion crisps on my birthday. Thank you very much, in February. One moment, please. No, we haven't got any more bongs, have we? Well, that's 2 minutes late. 2 minutes late, that was. Did yours go? I heard the bongs. That's got to be recording then, isn't it? Alexa, stop. There you go. That'll shut that up now. That must be a recording then, because I'm sure the bells aren't up there at the moment. Anyway, that was nice to hear that, wasn't it? It's a nice warm sound, isn't it? Old Big Ben playing. Yeah, if you're listening to, I think the BBC World Service plays it on the hour, don't they? Big Ben going off. I don't think Radio 4 do it. Maybe for the 12 o'clock news or something like that. Jason Hughes is off to Greg's again. Do you ever cook for yourself, Jason? Has that ever occurred to you, perhaps, to cook for yourself occasionally? Might be an idea. Poor George Bond, I just turned on his Amazon to full volume. Oh, well. Isn't that what Martin was saying a moment ago? Paul and Lou are looking forward to Ken Bruce, a true professional. Well, go and listen to him then if you want to. I'm not stopping you. What's the time? I think we could carry on until at least 10 to 11 this morning. I reckon that could happen. I've got some news stories here. News stories here. Now, do you like theme parks? Do you know, I just looked around for another camera, but there isn't one in it. Well, there is. That one up there. I suppose, could I use that one? It was a bit too far away in it. Let's see. Does that work for you? Does that work for you? We like to have a different angle now and again, don't we? If you like, do you like computer games? Do you like theme parks? Well, Japan. I've never been to Japan. Universal's Nintendo World. Did you have a Nintendo? You know, the Game Boy. They've got loads of stuff now, haven't they? Those sort of things. Ever since Universal's Nintendo World will open this summer in Japan, alongside a unique mobile app that offers special mini games. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Special mini games. Ever since it was announced, most of our info on Universal Studios' new Nintendo-themed amusement park has mostly come from leaks. We don't want any of those, dear. Leaks. I've got one in my roof at the moment. But speculation is finally reaching its end as Universal unveiled a few new details about it, as well as a more concrete time of opening. During a press conference, Universal officially confirmed that park visitors will be given wristbands called power-up bands, okay, and a special mobile phone app that will allow you to collect virtual coins and stamps by exploring the park. This is in Japan, though, so you've got a bit of a cash in the bank to go and see this one. Universal says the app will turn the park into a life-size living video game. What a great idea. While the coin and stamp collecting will be a competitive activity among the park visitors, there will also be keys that can be used to unlock virtual boss battles, which will require cooperation between players. Cooperation, that's what we need, dear. A special music video to help advertise the park was shown at the event, featuring British artist Charlie XCX and Swedish DJ duo Galantis. The video is more of a proof of concept since it doesn't show the actual park, but it does highlight the aforementioned activities as we see the attendees race each other for coins and work together to get past Bowser and his minions to reach the flagpole. It says, despite being called Super Nintendo World, there is a very clear emphasis on the Mario series. You know Mario? Super Mario? I had that one. With it being the focus of the video and all the promotional material so far. Previous leaks have shown the park will have a Yoshi-themed ride and a Donkey Kong country area. Donkey Kong! He was jumping up and down and those barrels were coming down, weren't they? Do you remember that? But there's no sign of anything Legend of Zelda or Splatoon related? I don't know either of those. Zelda, she was in the Terrorhawks, wasn't she? Terrorhawks, stay on this channel. And Zelda, she had that face, didn't she? She reminds me of some. I'm not going to say who. Zelda. Now, what did she say? I can't remember what Zelda said. That she had a specific line. Oh, I can't remember what she said now. Zelda on the Terrorhawk. That was good. I like the theme music to that. It's going to open just in time for the 2020 Olympics. Is it this year? Have we got more Olympics this year? What, in Japan? God, that's come round. I remember the London Olympics. That was 2 ago now, weren't it? God, I was doing a quiz at the Mayflower pub. That was a lovely little job, actually. It was an absolute pain to get to. Oh, God, it was in South London. The traffic trying to get there was an absolute nightmare. It really was. So there we are. If you like theme parks, something you visit there in Japan, which I think is a lovely thing there. Go to Japan for a holiday. I'd like to go on the bullet train. I like trains. Do you like trains? I love trains. I'd like to go on the bullet train in Japan. That would do me for a nice afternoon out. Jason, nothing wrong with my chef at Greg's. All right. Alan still plays with his Nintendo now. He's 54. Yeah, I stopped playing computer games. The last computer game I bought was the Wii. You know, I think that was Nintendo Wii. And it's a number of years ago now, but we'd had Christmas at my sister's and they just bought one. And we were all there playing these games like cricket and tennis and all that. And I thought, this is really good. And the next week I waited for the sales and I bought one. And I bought several games with it. But I tell you, it's not as fun playing them on your own. And I kind of played a couple of games. I think I used it twice. And then it went back in the box, never to be used again. And in the end, I gave it away to I think it was a children's home. I think it was a children's home in Bracknell. I just gave the whole lot away. Do you want this? They were so pleased with it. You know, there's no point in having something sitting in a box. Go and find someone who would have a use for it. Absolutely go and find someone who would have a use for it. Text here from Mark. Please, can I have a ticket? I had to go to the gym. Whoa, we haven't said tickets. Sorry, is it me or has someone said tickets, please? Did you hear me say tickets? I didn't hear me say tickets. I'm sorry, did you? I think Mark Bowles is jumping the gun here. Is that like asking for preferential treatment, dear? We can't give preferential treatment to anyone, I'm afraid. Thank you to Gavin. He's on Embrace Radio, which I read out for you earlier. You can hear him on various times. Just scroll up to the chat box and you'll see him there. All right. Stop with the thumbs. Do I twiddle my thumbs? Why should I stop, Mike? I like twiddling I shall twiddle them even more now. Just to annoy you. Stop twiddling your... I won't be told what to do, Mick. I won't be told what to do. Alan says what computer games calm you down? Oh no, I'm completely the opposite. I end up throwing the thing across the room. I can't bear it. Computer games wind me up. Not interested. Not interested. Both Gary likes them. Gary's got like shooting type games and he plays them with his friend, the very delightful Paul McElroy. Paul McElroy, yes. Very nice boy. He's, what's he now? He must be 34 now, is he, Paul? 34, 35, something like that? Mandy, between my two sons and Mick, we've got every known console in this house. Did you have the tennis one? I had the tennis one. Black and white it was. Beep. 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 That one. Yeah. Thank you, Jack. Jack's sticking up for me. Leave my thumbs alone. Good morning to Roy the Boy joining us there. Roy the Boy just popped in there. Doesn't like theme parks. That's not for Roy. No. Well, I mean, I don't go on roller coasters, Roy. You won't catch me on a roller coaster, I'm afraid. No, far too far. Even the children's ones. No, actually, I've been on the slower ones. You wouldn't get me on that thing at Blackpool. Oh, my Lord. Why would you want to go on that? My mate went on it. He says you go up and up and up and up and up, and you get to the top, and all you can see is the sea. And then it starts moving forward, and you actually think you're about to die. Why would you want to go on something like that? Why would you want to go on something like that, eh? Not me. Not me. Right, it's raffle time, boys and girls. Who wants a raffle ticket? Speak now or forever hold thy tongue. Right. Mark Bowles, 341. Who wants a raffle ticket? Our next raffle will be, of course, on Monday, boys and girls. Round about 9:30. Okay. Roy the Boy, 342. LaBelle worked at theme park. Yes, I think you worked at Disney, if I remember rightly. Am I right with that one? Disney? Michael Lawrence, 343. John Aitken, 344. Tony King, 345. Mandy Davenport, 346. Paul and Lou, 347. Gary Butler, 348. Mates? I'm your uncle, not your mate. Sean Pye, 349. Oh, I'm so much looking forward to that hot chocolate later. Michael Pullman, 350. Jason Hughes, 351. Mick Davenport, 352. Mike Reese Ponto, 353. LaBelle, 354. Fran, 355. Diane, 356. Alan, 357. Gavin, 358. Gavin. George Bonds, 359. Oh, Joey Millen, 360. Claire, 361. One man and his Sprinter van, 362. SOS Gregorian, 363. That looks like the end of the list to me. Have I missed anyone out? Please speak now. If you think I've missed you out, please speak now, and I shall correct that. Okay. Interesting. This whole Meghan Harry thing going on at the moment. And they're all right. You know, I've never had a problem with Meghan and Harry. I know some of the newspapers, I'm starting to actually question now whether a lot of the stories we see in the newspapers are actually real. Honestly, the some of the stuff that they've printed about various people sort of more recently in the last year or so, and then it turns out it's all made up. I'm actually now starting to question half of what we read in the papers. I'll be honest with you. Oh, LaBelle, quite a few different theme parks she's worked in. Universal, been there. Six Flags. Oh, what's that one? Six Flags, I don't know that. Cedar Point, I've heard of. Busch Gardens, I've heard of, to name but a few. She's worked at all these theme parks. She likes doing that sort of thing, LaBelle. It's a nice thing to do, I suppose, isn't it? Nice thing to do there. But, yeah, I'm starting to question quite a lot of what I read in the papers. But one particular person of, like, the Meghan family type thing I really despise is her dad. That bloke. Is it Mick? What's his name? Is it Mick? Michael? Is it Michael? Meghan Markle's dad. Thomas, that's it. Thomas. That's his name. Thomas. It says, and he'll love this, because he loves publicity. I think that's what it is with him. He wants to get in on the act. He's using her to push himself into the limelight. I'm convinced by that. Sorry, did I remember your title then? Dr. SOS Gregorian. Doctor, very important. Very important there. It says Meghan Markle could be pitted against her father in the witness box in court if he testifies against her, in which could be the trial of the century. In October, even now, you can hear these television executives offering loads of money so they get exclusive rights to this, can't you? In October, the Duchess of Sussex, that's Meghan, took legal action against the Mail on Sunday over its decision to publish a highly personal letter which she penned for her dad. Now, so how did that happen? Did her dad give that to the paper? I despise that man. How you can do that to your own child? It doesn't matter how bad or good your child is. As a parent of that child, you wouldn't go to the paper and start talking about it, would you? You just wouldn't. You just wouldn't. But he loves it. He wants the publicity. He wants to be his own little mini star, I suppose. Why don't he just start a YouTube channel? Of course, he wouldn't have as many subscribers as me. I'm sure he wouldn't. The estranged father and daughter appear to be on a collision course after reports that the newspaper signed up to Meghan's father. Listen, if she doesn't want to know, you've got to walk away and leave her to get on with her own life. That's my opinion of that. If a child, if whatever's happened in your life, if that child doesn't want to know you, however old they are, then you just have to accept that and move on. You push yourself into her life all the time. The Mail on Sunday will argue that there's huge public interest in the personal relationships of members of the royal family as part of its defence. See, to me, the actual reason for this, to me, is neither here nor there. It's him. It's him. It's all him, wanting a little bit of spotlight all the time. The newspapers say royals rely on publicity. Well, they do. They do. And he could end up, and her, in court against each other. I mean, how ridiculous. A father and the daughter in court. As I say, whatever the child's done, rightly or wrongly, if they've decided they don't want anything to do with you, then you must walk away and let them get on with their life. That's just how it is. But no, he loves the publicity, doesn't he? Pushing himself forward all the time. Dreadful man. Absolutely dreadful man. Let's have a look what you're saying here. Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Have you been there, have you? Gavin's off to Blackpool this year. Now, my nephew went there, Jimmy, the younger nephew, and he says it's a dump. It's all very well on that road where all the hotels are and the flashing lights. Come off that road, he says, if you think Skegness is bad, go to Blackpool. It's an absolute dump. That's what he said. Mandy says, I'm fed up hearing with about Harry and Meghan. Just let them get on with it at the end of the day. Yeah, whatever they want to do is fine by me, Mandy. If you want to go, then go. Don't care. Not bothered. You're not going to be king anyway. Be the other one, wouldn't it? William, eventually. Charles first, then William. I think Charles will take it out. A lot of people have said they don't think Charles should be king and he should just move aside for William. But I don't know. I don't think he will move aside, to be honest. I think Charles is very like his mother. He's driven by what he should be doing. Which is what the Queen. She feels she should still be there, so that's why she is there. I don't think she'll ever abdicate somehow. Why should she if she doesn't want to? She'll have to. Excuse me. The bells are late, says Alan. No, I've turned it off, Alan. I turned it off. Didn't you hear me turn it off? They were 2 minutes late a minute ago, weren't they? I went to Blackpool last year in the rainy season, says Fran. I bet that. And the lights are quite nice, aren't they, along that seafront? LaBelle was a dancer and wanted to perform. All these places are great performing opportunities. I often got professional jobs because of the theme park work. Yes, that happens here. We have holiday camps here, LaBelle. Perhaps not so much now, but in the past, Pontins and Butlins and Warners, they were the big three. With, I think Butlin's just had the edge over Pontins with amount of holiday camps. There's nowhere near as many now. They've kind of contracted. And if you wanted to be an entertainer, you could become a blue coat, Pontins, a red coat, Butlins, or a yellow coat at Warners. Right? So young people who wanted to perform. Excuse me, I'm going to have a really good cough now and turn the sound off. Oh dear, it's just a little bit of phlegm that keeps coming up all the time and interfering with my talking. Yeah, if you wanted to perform, you would go to a holiday camp and join up as a member of the staff, and then you'd be on the stage arranging competitions and games, doing a bit of singing, doing a bit of dancing, perhaps playing an instrument or something like that. And then they would get seen, you know, and then moved on to television or something like that. It was great. The money was absolutely dire, as I'm sure it was for you. But it was a way of performing, and I know where you are with that, LaBelle. Because performers need to perform. Not always for the money. You know, you don't think the likes of Cher or Barry Manilow or Tina Turner or Shirley Bassey, you don't actually think they need the money anymore. Because they don't. They absolutely don't need the money. But they need to perform. So I completely get that. You know, it's like my karaoke nights. Now, karaoke nights can have hassle. They do have hassle. They do have hassle. People moaning left, right and centre. Oh, you know, I've been waiting 2 hours for my song. Yeah, so is everyone else. Yeah, but my train's going in 50. It's just like that all night long. That's all you get. People moaning and moaning and moaning. Oh, can you turn the lights down? They're too bright. Everyone, yeah, it's just, but you just accept it. And I do think you need a little bit of that in your life, you know. I thought about, you know, finishing it all off and just carrying on with my life and doing other things. But I think you need a little bit of something like that in your life to perform. I really do. Let's just read some more of these messages. One moment. Megan's dad is only in it for the money. I'm sure he is, John. No, I think he likes the publicity. People like a bit of publicity. They do. That's why I'm doing this show. I quite like to sit here and have a little bit of publicity while I'm doing that. This is my thing, you know. But he pushes himself, but he uses Megan to get to the front of those newspapers. And I don't like him. I do not like him one little bit. Alan says Charles Q caused a few headlines in his day. Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely. Hello to China King. Good morning, China King. Thank you very much. You look beautiful, lad. Greetings from China. Thank you very much. I wish I did. I honestly don't think I look that beautiful anymore. If I am, I seriously don't. Please don't come back to me and say, "Oh, you're gorgeous" and all that. I don't, you know, you don't need to do that because I know. I look at myself in the mirror in the morning and before I go to bed. Oh, the neck's starting to show age now. What about yours, John? How's your neck looking? Does it? If you do, you know, does your neck look old? Like I can do my dinosaur impression. Look, can you do? Thank you, China. John's never been to a holiday camp. Well, you're too camp to go to a holiday camp, John. George Bond, I am Boogie Storm. What's that? I am Boogie Storm. I don't know what that is. Blackpool is all seafront. I've never been there, Alan, to be honest. Mick says, Jim is right. Blackpool is lovely on the front, but very run down everywhere else. Fran remembers Pontins, Butlins and beachcomb holiday camps. Pontins was the ones we used to go to, Fran, and I wanted to be a blue coat. As a child of like 11 years old, I wanted to be a blue coat. I was just amazed. They're just entertaining and you had a band on the stage. There were no discos. It was a band. No one was playing records. This is the thing at the Haven holidays. Now, Haven have that kind of setup. Now, we're going again to Mablethorpe in... Is it March or May? One of the two. Oh, no, March is Euro Disney. May. We're going to Haven Holidays in Mablethorpe in May. They do that sort of thing at night time. You go into this entertainment complex and they do shows on the stage. But there's just something missing from it. Okay, the girls, they're all quite young, girls and boys. They come up and do dancing and singing. There's something missing from it. And I can't put my finger on it. Generally, the dancing they're all together, but it looks a bit wooden. It kind of doesn't flow. And the singing, some of them have got nice voices, but often the person working the sound hasn't got a bloody clue. And it sounds... there was one particular one. It might have been on the last holiday we went on. And this girl was singing, and her voice was far too powerful for the music. Someone needed to turn her microphone down and turn the music up. The mix was really bad. And we had to leave in the end. It was so bad. It was awful. Of course, it has to be said, there are some singers... as the sound operative, which is something that I do, who just keep screaming at you to turn the bloody microphone up all the time. You know, when I'm working the sound, I'm trying to do it for the benefit of the audience, not the person on the stage. You know, you have come to entertain them, not the other way around. But a lot of people forget that. It's like when people are choosing karaoke songs. You know, we've talked about this so many times, and they do depressing ballads. We don't want to hear depressing ballads. When you have someone come up and do a karaoke song, and they do a nice lively song, I don't know, whatever it could be, YMCA, and the whole and they finish and everyone's clapping. Wow, well, someone does a depressing ballad, and you see the faces on some of them. We are falling asleep, but they don't listen. There are certain people that continue to do depressing ballads. One of my friends does it all the time, and I tell him, why do we have to have these depressing... Adele, there's one. A great voice, great singer. God, depressing songs. They come up and do la 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 la. That one. Oh, Lord. You know the two worst ones I told you about before. Hero, Mariah Carey, and I Will Always Love You. Ghastly songs. Absolutely ghastly. Scrolling. Me. John, most acts at holiday camps, they're tribute acts. ABBA, Madonna, Carly, Michael Jackson. I'm always getting posts on Facebook about weekends away. I'd like to do a soul weekender, actually. John. You know, and they do get the acts. Shack Attack, Durham, Shalimar. I think I've seen Shalimar advertised. Various, but you do get the proper acts as well as tribute acts to sort of bolster the numbers of people on the stage, I think. There we are. George, dance group, we dress up as stormtroopers. Are you in a dance group? Stormtroopers. Is that like from... Is that Star Wars Stormtroopers, I think? Blackpool's got a lot of money thrown at it to improve sea defences. Why bother, according to what I've heard some people say about them? I don't know why they bother. Chris looks okay apart from the 3 chins. Excuse me, I've lost nearly 10 pounds now. I'm hoping, when I weigh myself on Saturday, I'm hoping to be 13 stone 2. I was 13 stone 3 on Monday. I'm hoping to be 13 stone 2 when I weigh myself on Saturday morning. So we'll see if I am or not. Okay. I swear, just a moment. Sorry. Just jumped forward again there. And where are I? Manilow's songs are ghastly. Don't you like Barry's songs, Mick? Don't be saying that, my dear. You'll get a time out for that. Don't be cussing out Barry, my love. Joe, my most favourite singer. Hello, Joe. Didn't see you there. Was the wonderful Nat King Cole. Oh, yes. He could sing the phone book. He's a good singer, isn't he? He's a good singer. I think I've jumped forward here somewhere. Oh, yeah, there we are. Chris, you look rough. Dog rough. Thank you. I kind of agree with you, to be honest. Ross Herndon. Have we not done you, Ross? Ross Herndon wants a raffle ticket. Did I do the raffle ticket? I've done them, haven't I? Ross Herndon is 364. Okay, Ross? That'll save you an email later on, mate. All right, there you go, Ross. Thank you very much. Okie doke. No, I don't need to do Martin's. I'm doing my own diet. Slimming World diet. That one works for me. All right. Okay, gang. Let's do hello, Trevor Campbell. Have I said hello to you there? Don't know if I've said hello to you yet. Morning, Trevor. Let's do today's birthdays. Happy birthday on this, Wednesday, the 15th of January, 2019, to Gary Rodriguez, 23 years old today. Happy birthday, Gary. Ryan Gregitis is 47 today. Brian Popple, love your surname, Brian, 67 today. Simon Bell today is 71 years old today. Joel Murray is 35 today. Martin O'Connor today, 30 years old. And Deck Reed, who's up there in Scotland, is a young 42 years old. So happy birthday to you all, boys and girls. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to Now, I've got this button on my mixer I've just spotted, which says FX. I'm going to turn it on and see if it does anything. Because I don't think I've got FX on here. FX, let's turn this on. Does that do anything at all? Has anything happened? Right, that's on now. And now it's off again. Let me just have a quick look at my mixer. No, I don't. Isn't that strange? I've got a button that says FX on there. And I don't think it does anything. It doesn't do anything. Did I say 2019 again? It's 2020. You know that. 2000. Nothing happened. Okay. Must be another thing there. Oh, Claire. Happy birthday to Coco. Yes, Coco, who comes along to the karaoke. He was 50 yesterday, was he? Happy birthday to Coco as well for yesterday. Thank you, Claire. Good. All right, gang, that's it for the show today. Thank you very, very much for joining me. As I say, I'll unplug the lead from the computer and we'll go back onto the Wi-Fi tomorrow, just to see if that happens, makes any difference at all with the buffering issue that we're having. We'll try that tomorrow morning. Of course, 2 shows for you on a Thursday. We'll have the usual one first thing in the morning, like this morning, and Thursday night. Thursday night is phone-in night. We open a phone line, and you'll be able to call in. Okay. Do you know? I don't know if I want to drop that quality. I'll drop the quality as well. Oh, I don't know. No. What's the thing that I've done that's changed it? It's plug the computer in. It is plug the computer in. So I'll go back to Wi-Fi on that. Not that that'll make much difference anyway. And we'll see if that improves the buffering issue that we've had over the last 2 days. So sorry about that, gang. We'll find out see if I can find if it is something to do with that rather than the other thing. Okay. So 2 shows tomorrow, as usual. The one in the morning, similar to today, and Thursday night is phone-in night. So we have a phone line open. We've got Skype as well. So if you're abroad, it's a local London number. So if you're in the UK. Phone, it's just a normal phone call, okay? It's not premium rate or anything like that. No 50 pence a minute or any of that old toddle. It's just a normal London number. You'll be able to call that tomorrow night if you want to phone in. Can only take 1 phone call at a time, excuse me. Or if you've got Skype and you're abroad, you can just get Skype. It's all free, okay? And you need to add the name United Kingdom Talk. Is it on here with the phone number? Let me have a look. There it is. That's the Skype up there. Don't call in now because no one will answer. The phone line is closed. You'll get a recording. It's just an answer phone on there at the moment, okay? But if you want to go onto Skype and just write that down, United Kingdom Talk is our username on Skype. You can call in via Skype on exactly the same system, and we'll do that tomorrow. Gary's ringing in tomorrow. Is Gary ringing tomorrow night? Jason keeps saying he's going to ring him, but he never does. You've got to be quick. You do have to be quick. Sometimes we don't get, it takes a while for the calls. And then other times, like 5 people are calling at once. I can only take 1 call at a time. Once there's someone on the phone, it just depends which one comes through first. I always take the first one. Oh, no, Jack's bought Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina candles. Do you know about those, do you? Gwyneth Paltrow has brought out candles that smell of her vagina. I mean, why would anyone want to buy one? I think that's an absolutely ghastly thing to bring out. Awful. Awful. It's his new favourite smell, is it, Jack? Ah, how awful. I'm just having a look up the messages here. Alan Wainwright used to drive coaches to Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Free meal and wristband for the driver. Oh, that's all right. Sean doesn't like Barry Manilow. He looks so false and made of plastic. Well, that's how it is. How rude. Jason Hughes, don't forget to put both feet on the scales. Don't you worry, I will. You know what I was a few weeks ago? Just before I went to Cyprus, I was 13 stone 12.8. I'm now 13 stone 3. So up yours, mate. Up. Fran, Soul Weekends would be good. Yeah, I'd like to go to one of those. I would like to go to a soul weekend. I like the idea about that. Alrighty. Thanks very much, gang. I'm off to the swimming pool shortly. Have a lovely day on this 15th of January 2020. Alright, SRS 2020. That's what it is. And I'll see you again tomorrow morning. Enjoy your Wednesday. Cheerio now.